Hello there! It's coming up on 2 years since Microsoft released Project for the Web, and it's time for an update from our other Project for the Web videos, which you'll find on our channel. Let's start with some background. Project for the Web was released in October 2019 with the goal of updating and simplifying the project scheduling process. It's a fresh start and it's built on entirely new technology from what the Microsoft Project Online system is. Project for the Web exists only in the secure Azure cloud, the same one that most businesses rely on for their office productivity. It uses the Power Platform and Dataverse as its underlying architecture, and as a result, it's been easy for Microsoft to build it directly into their latest Dynamics 365 ERP system as the Project Operations module. Project for the Web has been built in the era of new competition taking on Microsoft's dominance of the project management space, with its classic Microsoft Project Online, Microsoft Project Server, Microsoft Project Professional, and Project Web App. In the market space for managing simple projects and small teams, upstarts like Monday.com, Smartsheet, Asana, Wrike, ClickUp, and even its own Microsoft Planner have been strong competitors against the classic Microsoft Project solutions. At the same time, other specialized tools have been evolving for planning and management of agile projects. Most notably, we see Microsoft's Azure DevOps, Jira, and ServiceNow. The project management space has become crowded, and Project for the Web is Microsoft's stretch to get back to the top. A brief note, if you want more content like this, and if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to get notifications about new content. If you're watching on LinkedIn, please like, comment, or share. Which version of Microsoft Project should you use? If you're trying to manage simple projects with small teams or even some simple agile projects, then Project for the Web is what you want to consider. If you're managing programs of large or small projects, teams of people, an enterprise of projects, and sophisticated projects, then you need Microsoft Project Online. This video is about that first base, built around simple projects and small teams. Let's have a look at Project for the Web. For some quick links to specific features of Project for the Web, please see the interactive table of contents in the YouTube description. We'll start here at the project home screen. From here you can get quick access to your projects, both ones that you created and ones that are shared with you. From this screen you can start a new project, import a project from an MPP file, and create a new roadmap. You could also get to the home screen for Microsoft Project Online. Let's talk about licensing for a couple of minutes. You buy your Microsoft Project subscription as Microsoft Project Plans 1, 3, and 5, and all include elements of both Microsoft Project Online and Project for the Web. Browse the features list to learn more. You'll find regional pricing for Microsoft Project, so make sure you're looking at the right pricing for your country. The URL to this page is in the YouTube description. With Project for the Web, you can provide read-only access to Project for the Web and roadmaps to users with Office 365 subscriptions. The URL for this information is in the YouTube description. Let's take a look at the roadmap. This is a place where you can pull together a simple view of projects, including things that are created in Microsoft Project and also in Azure DevOps. This is a simple way to produce a simple report of work across an enterprise. As a bonus, the roadmap can be shared without a Project Plan license. You'll need a Plan 3 or Plan 5 license to create it, but all you need to view it is an Office 365 license. UMT 360 offers a far more powerful roadmap option with their UMT 360 Roadmap Manager. This allows a comprehensive roll-up of resources, costs, and other metadata. Configuration for the Roadmap Manager also contributes to the configuration of other UMT 360 solutions like the Portfolio Manager. See the URL in the description for more information about UMT 360's Roadmap Manager. On to Project for the Web. Project for the Web is a web-only application. You don't need to install anything. You just need a subscription and then you run it from your browser. Project for the Web allows users to easily create simple schedules with simple assignments. It has 3 views. The grid, which is like a spreadsheet and easy to use. However, it doesn't give you a visual representation of what you're creating. You can create custom columns in here and create up to 10 task level custom fields. Project for the Web has a boards view, and you can use this if you're so inclined, but it really doesn't correspond to the schedule. You can create new categories in here and use this for interactive planning with your team and more on an agile project. I wish the Project for the Web boards provided a bridge between the boards and the grid so that you got a better perspective on the timeline. Project for the Web also has the timeline view, which is essentially a Gantt chart but with a different name. With the timeline, you can see how your tasks lay out in time and also use some cute widgets to change the duration of your tasks and build finish to start relationships. It's a bit painful that the grid and timeline views are separate, not grid and timeline views like you get in Microsoft Project Professional. It is pretty easy to use and great if you're just making a simple schedule. Project for the Web is built on the Power Platform, which allows you to use Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, and the Microsoft Dataverse to extend the application. And once you've used Project for the Web, you may have hunger to do that. Let's look at some of the features available in Project for the Web now. From the home screen, you select New Blank Project. This opens Project for the Web in the grid view. Pretty easy so far, right? From here, creating a schedule is absolutely easy. Give your project a name, enter the tasks, assign work, give it a duration. Add a structure to your project with summary tasks and indents. You can do this at any time. You might even start by creating a work breakdown structure or breakout tasks as you go to elaborate on work. Build relationships by simply entering the dependent task number. You can also do this by hopping over to the timeline view where you can build relationships by drawing lines or change duration by dragging tasks around. A quick way to status a task is simply to click on the task's radio button to set it to 100% complete. Creating a schedule in Project for the Web is easy and fast. See the Quick Look column? This is a new column in the grid view and it will show you additional information about your tasks. Today it shows attachments and notes. Microsoft Project Online has a similar column and it shows more information like resource overallocation and constraints. Will we see other information show up in Project for the Web's Quick Look in the future? Let's fill up some of those columns. Under the information of each task, you can add a note. You might use this for keeping track of the status. Of note about the note, you can only see the note when you go into the information for each task, but this gives you a place to capture some free-form information. If you have a note on a task, you can see that in the Quick Look column. Back to that Information tab, and from here you can select Add Attachment for each task. This is a good way to quickly associate information to each task and either use that to communicate with your team, or your team can use it to capture deliverables that they create. From the dialog box, you can select a file from your computer, from Teams, or a URL. Easy to do. If you have an attachment on a task, you can see that in the Quick Look column. Here's something new in Project for the Web. You can add up to 10 custom columns in a Project for the Web schedule. To add a field, select to add a new column and pick New Field. From that, you get a pop-up dialog. In this, you can choose the type of field you want: text, date, number, yes, no, or a choice. Text is used for free-form text like a short status note, but don't forget you can also enter a note. Date is used to track a date, like the next date on which you plan to check on the status of an activity, or maybe the date you need to procure items for the work. A number field can be used for tracking numerical data on a project, for example, the task cost. Numbers can also be rolled up, allowing you to track the cost at the task summary level. A yes/no field can be used to set a simple binary flag, for example, if the team has reviewed this task and agreed to it. A choice field is perhaps the most interesting option. You can create a pick list for tracking your project. So, for example, you could track the health of a task. If you use the keyboard shortcuts to bring up emojis, you can create pick lists that have, for example, a red, amber, green status indicator. The custom fields are all available from the task information as well. Co-authoring is another feature in Project for the Web. This is kind of cool depending on the type of project you're doing and who's on your project team. Normally, the project manager is the only person that works on the schedule. With Project for the Web, anyone on the project team can collaborate on the schedule and contribute to it, even simultaneously. This drives deeper project collaboration. The downside of this is that anyone on the team can modify the schedule, including the work breakdown structure, any of the assignments, dates, durations, task relationships, or custom data. So for example, a new user could accidentally delete assignments or create bad relationships among tasks. Worse, an angry team member could intentionally destroy your schedule. Also, and related, there's no individual project backup that you can restore from, so that's a risk you need to be aware of. To create a project team, you're creating or using an Office 365 group. In that light, Project for the Web uses the same permission system as the newer Office apps and Microsoft Teams. However, Project for the Web doesn't afford you the same granular level of permissions as you have on the Microsoft Project Online system. Anyone with access to the project can modify your plan. Again, there's no backup. A new feature in Project for the Web is the ability to bring projects in from an MPP file. You start this from the home screen. If you're using Microsoft Project Online, you'll need to open the project in Microsoft Project Professional and save it to an MPP format on a local disk. There are several things that can't be imported yet, and you can find the limitations from the link on the import dialog. Simply select the file and choose to import it. Then you simply open the project in Project for the Web, and it is imported for you. On the import, it does strip out information that it can't import, such as complex relationships and constraints, and your resources. So you should consider this as an option to bring a template into the Project for the Web system and not an active schedule. However, if you have a simple project, then it might not take much to update it and make it like your original MPP formatted project. But if you're using any of the features in Microsoft Project Professional like constraints, relationships other than a finish to start, baselines, and others that aren't supported in Project for the Web, then that information all gets stripped out. So your tasks are in the schedule, but you'll need to spend some time to rebuild it. Also, if you have a large schedule with more than 500 tasks or 10 levels deep, then it can't be imported. That's probably okay for any of the projects you'd ever manage with Project for the Web. We expect that the limits and constraints on the MPP file import will improve as Microsoft advances Project for the Web. Here's another new and good thing. You can now export Project for the Web plans to Excel. The export includes both default and custom columns. This gives you some extra flexibility in using Project for the Web and an ability to import the project into other tools like Microsoft Project Online. You can also export your schedules from the timeline view to a PDF. This gives you some ability to print out your schedule and share it with others. You can control how many pages the PDF forms by using the zoom. Of course, you can also share your schedule in interactive forms by adding people to your team or taking advantage of the ability to share the schedule with other Office 365 users, as described earlier in this video. From the home screen, you can click on the ellipsis for a project and select from the menu to copy the project to a new one. This essentially creates a copy of your work breakdown structure and tasks with the relationships, but with no status or assignments. So it isn't a real copy, it's closer to actually working like a template to start a new project. Project for the Web is available directly inside Teams. You can simply add a tab in Teams as a Microsoft Project widget and ta-da! You can start planning your project for your team. Microsoft released a Project for the Web report template in Power BI. This gives you the ability to use out-of-the-box reports or to customize them further to meet your needs. These reports are also available as a Power BI app. An app is a Power BI content type that combines related dashboards and reports all in one place. Microsoft has started to open up the back end of Project for the Web, allowing developers to use custom fields and columns at the task level. To get you started, Microsoft has configured tables and views for projects, programs, project requests, risks, issues, changes, status comments, and some more through a Project Accelerator, which helps you set up a user interface with access to these features. With this Project Accelerator and the Power Platform, you can extend the Project for the Web capabilities to do things that are similar to the out-of-the-box functionality that's available directly in Microsoft Project Online. It's imperfect still. For example, you're limited to 10 custom fields. You can't report on these custom fields, and there isn't a template that allows you to ensure the same fields are in each project. But that should come in the future. Let's summarize on what we looked at here today. First of all, Microsoft Project for the Web has come a long way and there's some good capabilities in it. But there's a lot of functionality that's still missing in Project for the Web, such as baselines, the ability to restore from a point in time, and granular permissions and controls. The good news is that Microsoft is continuing to commit resources to deliver new capabilities in Project for the Web. There might be enough there that is good enough for planning and managing some of your projects, like small IT projects, marketing projects, or customer service initiatives. Microsoft continues to invest in Project for the Web, and at the same time, we don't have reasons to believe that Microsoft Project Online is going away anytime soon. So our recommendation is still, if your projects are simple and standalone, try Project for the Web. If you need an enterprise view of your projects, if you need resource planning and resource management, if you have sophisticated projects, if you need to integrate your projects with other systems, if your projects are part of an integrated program, and for many other reasons, use Microsoft Project Online. If you're doing agile projects, try Azure DevOps. And if you need enterprise visibility and control of your programs and projects from a top-down view of strategic alignment, cost, resources, progress, and more, use UMT360. Is implementing a Project for the Web or Microsoft Project Online of interest to you and your organization? Western Principles can help you implement project and portfolio management solutions through a simple process. Western Principles is a Microsoft Gold Certified Project and Portfolio Management Partner, a UMT360 Gold Partner, and a Fluent Pro Preferred Partner. We know Microsoft Project and can help you with all aspects of your project and portfolio management. We can also help you extend your PPM system with the Microsoft Power Platform or partner solutions like the Portfolio Manager from UMT360 to help you drive more ROI from your project and portfolio management system. Let's get started together. Visit us on the web, call us at 1-800-578-4155, or email us at info@westernprinciples.com. We look forward to helping you.